96 XCR440 Special Revival with EFI. Alright, so before people start freaking out and saying, oh, you're ruining a super special, I'll say, XCR440. This one is really, really bad. It doesn't have the correct skid in it because we took it for something else. I will insert the image after I'm done talking. It's missing all of this. It's in a horrible shape. The track has 17 million studs in it. The seat is all ripped apart. Doesn't have the Magra brake. 4,000 miles, which isn't horrible. Not the right skis. The front shocks are completely blown out. The hood was repaired at some point. There and over here. It's missing the front bumper. And the worst part is under the hood. Make sure you can kind of see. We'll try this. So, oh, windshield. And broken hood cable. It still has the 440 Special EC45 PL08. But it was missing the 34mm carbs. It had 38s, and it ran like crap. I will insert the video here. Luckily, it still has the magnesium chain case, and it still has the two-piece pipe. We'll zoom back in. It's missing the recoil and stuff, and it has the world's most grindy crank bearings. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Maybe if I put you down here. Alright, so maybe you got it. Obviously it doesn't have the right fuel pump in it, but that doesn't really matter. It's missing the clear tank, and it is an actual SP if you run the VIN and the model number. But I will insert the picture of what we put the good skid into. I will insert the picture here. Click, inserted. Okay. But that sled we restored bottom to top, front to back. And we have a lot of money into it, and the only thing we were missing was the correct skid in the rear. But we have that out of this sled. And of course, it's an XCR440, and it gets horrible mileage. It gets about 5 miles to the gallon. So, we are going to build this as my trail sled, and it will have a 500 EFI motor in it out of a 95 Indy 500 EFI. Theoretically, everything's here. And don't quote me on this, but up here, this should be the correct fuel pump. It's obviously an aftermarket. See if there's a part number on it somewhere. Right here. And it isn't horribly expensive compared to OEM Polaris ones. That's how much it cost total. And obviously I open this, but it comes with everything you need. Obviously the pump comes with this, so you can take it from the 3/4 pipe thread or whatever to a 5/16 fuel line. It has mounts and connectors with bolts and everything. And then, especially don't quote me on this one. Don't know if it'll work yet. We'll obviously know if this stuff works once the engine is in. But this part number right here, it's a Bosch part. That should work as a replacement temperature sensor for the airbox, because this one was missing. The OEM Polaris one, but it's probably a Denso part, or it is an actual Fuji part, is you can't get them anymore. And at 2.5K ohms, it should be reading 20 degrees Celsius. And this one at 20 degrees Celsius is 2.4K ohms. So a whole 100 ohms difference should make a difference in about 1 degree Celsius. I don't know why they do it in Celsius, but it should work. We'll see once we do that. I'll probably edit this part out of the video if it doesn't work. But it is even the correct connector. I tried plugging it in, and it went click and went right in. So, get back to the snowmobile. I don't know why I said snowmobile, but who cares? So, we'll start with gutting out this engine. We'll start with taking the exhaust out. Alright, we'll start taking the exhaust out. Sorry for the bad kind of angle, but I have no clue where my tripod is. So, yeah. In theory, I shouldn't be blocking your view from seeing what I'm doing. Pop the spring out. Pop these springs. Alright, should be able to hold the exhaust out now. Oh, wait, no. Got these massive springs that on my other XCR were absolutely pain in the butt to put back on, but luckily we won't need them because we're not using this bike. I kind of want to, but I also would like to be able to hear myself while I'm riding. Because on my other XCR, I can't hear myself thinking while I'm riding. I have headphones in my helmet, and I can't even hear them on full volume. And don't get me wrong, it sounds absolutely amazingly down onto the throttle, and it just screams at 8,000 RPM. But if I'm done riding, my ears are ringing for an hour after I'm done riding. It's kind of annoying. And I will also not be selling any of the parts that come off of this snowmobile. We are keeping those because if we ever want to make this thing original again, we obviously want to keep all the parts. So yeah. Okay, wow, the spring is mean. Oh, there it is. Ow. Okay. In theory, now this exhaust should come. Long xcr440 special exhaust. And now, we got all the room in the world. Well, you can't see anything. There we go. Now we got a bunch of room. So, now what we'll do is, I think I might be able to sit right here. Again, I apologize, my tripod went missing. Okay, that's just gonna have to do. Unplug main connector here. This stuff is for the snowmobile itself, so that should not need to come out. We will clamp off that oil line. Clamp off this oil line with vice grips. That needs to be tighter. And pull off this pulse line off this incorrect tachyogen, or however you say that. It's an actual Japanese pump. It's just not correct for the snowmobile. Alright, move these cables out of the way. I think I should be able to leave the injector line on the engine because the 500, because it's an EFI motor, has its own separate fuel line. How does this come off? I think it appears as though push it this way. Okay, yeah, we'll figure that out in a second. I'll just disconnect it from the engine. I completely forgot I was wearing two hats. Alright, I think in theory, should be able... Alright, my phone shut off for some reason, but I'll just hold you guys here, and I'll just do this. Not the right tool at all. Okay, you know what? We're gonna attempt to get it out of here. I think I push it this way. I honestly really don't know how this comes out. I should maybe just look it up. I'm gonna shut the camera off and get this out and turn it back on. Alright, I got it out, but I unfortunately broke this because it is so... Well, I unfortunately broke this because it is so dry from sitting out in the sun for 20 years, because there's a big registration gap. It goes from ends in 2024 to, or sorry, ends in 2006, no, 2004, ends in 2004, and then the next registration says it stops in 2018, and the guy said it sat for like 10 years from when he bought it. So, yeah. Okay. All right, we'll pop this oil line off of here. Appears to be pretty soft still, so I'm not going to worry about replacing that at this point. Pretty much this first part 1 of this video is going to be are people interested in watching me do this, and will that engine that we bought even run? So, we will unplug this and cut that zip tie that somebody put there. Alright, cut the zip tie out. Alright, we'll cut the zip tie too. And then we'll take these line clamps and clamp off these coolant hoses. I believe there's this one, and then there's that one down there. This one, there is virtually no coolant left in the reservoir, so I should just be able to take that off, I think. Alright, got both of those clamped. Now, let's take this line off. Oh, it sprayed coolant on me. Oh, and it's just pissing in the belly band. Alright, you are going to go up here so you don't piss over my hand in the belly. So, let's pull this coolant line off now. Oh, this coolant line clamp. Whatever it's called. Make sure you can kind of see what I'm doing. Yeah, kind of. And this is probably going to spray coolant literally everywhere, but I need to move this. There we go. Alright, let's clamp it some more. Alright, got that off. Take this like this. Break that loose. And get it off there. Oh. Throw a couple rags under here. Okay, so in theory, the engine should be completely disconnected from everything now. So I can grab 9/16 and a 5/8 and crack these rear 2 engine mounts loose. Okay, it's a 5/8. Nope, it is a 9/16. That's tightening. Settle and crack loose. Oh, this end, everything is so dirty on this thing. And you know what? Something I see, there's stuff around these spark plugs. I don't know if it is coolant or fogging oil, but I wouldn't be surprised if the O-rings around the cylinder heads are bad, because the guy said, who we got this from, one of the heads was cracked, which probably explains why coolant hoses are so poopy. So, and he put one from an xcr440sp on it. So I hope that it's the correct dome and everything, but since this engine needs to come apart anyways, we're probably going to inspect it. Alright, rear 2 mounts are off. I believe the front is also a 5/8, but I need a ratchet, and a not ratcheting wrench. 5/8, we'll take the impacts to those. Impact extension, and a 5/8 impact socket. Yes, keep in mind how I am saying impact sockets, not chrome sockets, because I don't feel like blowing my eyes off, because a chrome socket or chrome extension exploded in my face, and when I turned this on, you're not going to be able to hear me. Actually, that's not that loud. Let that air up for a bit. Okay. Throw this down. Now, judging by how the front bumper is ripped off of this thing, I would not be surprised if it was snowcross or not, but judging on how it was registered since '96, I do not think it was. But I don't know. Unfortunately, it's just so rough that, and it would be so expensive to restore it back to its original glory, that it's going to be better to make a trail sled out of it and make it DFI. And it's crossed my mind a couple times to make this 440 DFI, but I do not want to dig into that at this point in time. Granted, this won't be working the rest of the snowmobile season because the season's coming to an end, unfortunately, but it will be ready for next weekend. Is this not 5/8? Is it bigger on the bottom? Yes, of course it is. assume it's 11/16 over 3/4. Try 11/16 first. And it's 11/16, okay. Alright. Don't lose this pull, or I mean nut. Pop this one out. There, got that nut out. Gently place that in here. Pull these out. And now, in theory, I will move you back over here and zoom in so you can see. We'll go right about there. I should be able to go up. Like this. Oh, these engines are here. These Fuji engines are way better than little Liberty Twins. Without fight over that. They're cheaper to fix and to just buy. They appear to be more valuable to be stored correctly. Like this one's not stored correctly, so it turns out right here like that. Right now we should just need to take this out. Stuff here. Oh my gosh. Alright. Make sure you lift with your back with the twisting and turning motions. Alright. Now we can see how bad this belly pan looks. It's actually not bad. The one we restored looked worse. The question is this one cracked like mine was? I don't know if that's a weld or a crack. That's a crack. You know what? I don't know. How's this one? You know what? This one appears not to be cracked like mine was. So that's a big plus. I'm gonna get this cleaned out and then turn the camera back on. Alright, so this is what we got to tonight. It's getting late. But it's kind of plumbed in there, not even close to permanently, because this engine's definitely going to be coming back out again. But it accidentally started off of fogging oil when we were just pulling it over for fun, so it runs. But it's missing the ACS, which is what powers up the ECU. So we're either going to find a way to bypass that, or yeah, I'm tired. Or we're gonna have to buy one that they don't make anymore and go from there. Alright, I didn't film us doing all the wiring harness because that would have probably been really annoying and dumb to watch. But we have everything hooked up, and we have the ACS module that was missing. More stuff from Florida on a snowmobile. Got relays for the ECU wherever those are, laying down there. And the ACS is not plugged in, so what we have to do is we have to jump these ACS plugs, which is what would signify the ECU that the engine is turning, and when I jump these, you'll hear the fuel pump prime. And then don't mind my pull cord being down here. Give it a tiny pull. Oh. Fires right up. Throttle is super duper snappy. This XCR pipe on a 500 twin sounds beautiful. Watch how snappy this thing is to rev. Okay, I have no clue what that was about. I think it timed out because there's no ACS in it to tell it the engine's spinning. Yep. This thing runs absolutely mint for 240 bucks. Thanks for watching this video. The next video will be on actually getting the sled nice and working properly with a good skid. But unfortunately, winter is coming to an end, so the next video you see of this might be in the fall.